Simply 347 high, simply 347 high, simply 347 high. You woo.
Thank you for gifting a sub. Thank you for spreading love. Thank you for the bit.
Welcome back, Santi.
Hello! Oh my gosh, guys. It's been literally a month and I come back to stream and you guys are already on Hype Train? What is this? What are you doing? Holy! Oh my god. Sparrow, hello! Oh my gosh. Okay, Ducky, thank you for the 100 bits. Avo, thank you for the gifted sub and a resub. Lessy, thank you for the resub. Alex, thank you for the resub. Holy. You're 8k bits. Avo. Avo! No! Avo, no! Oh my god. You can do the overtime, okay? Okay. Anyways, welcome CactiK, Alex, welcome Avo, welcome Lessy. And Sam Goldberg, thank you for the lurk. Welcome in. Oh my god. Barry Terry, welcome in. Ducky Saurus, welcome in. Spiro, welcome in. Did I miss anybody? Oh god, I don't think I missed anybody. Happy to see you back. I'm happy to see all you guys and be back. It's been a long time. It's been a long time. I better hide that bitty jargon that you act up. Nah. Nah. And also, I know I said this to people already, like, through Discord and stuff, but thank you to everybody who, like, still wished me happy birthday and, like, did all that stuff on my birthday. Even though I didn't stream and stuff, y'all were super supportive and loving still. So I appreciate you guys. And for everybody who's been there and just in general. Yeah, November 7th was my birthday. I was gonna do a birthday stream, but you see how that turned out. Also, are the sound thingies not working?
Thanks for coming to my stream.
That worked. Oh, but I did that. Okay, hold on. The videos aren't working, are they? Damn it! Okay, I need to fix my trigger fire then. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Turn the music up while I do this. Trigger fire. Thank you. Thank you for your happy birthday. No, don't throw biddies. You don't need to throw biddies. You don't need to throw biddies at all. Log in with Twitch. Since when did you log in with Twitch for trigger fire? That's why it's not working. That's why it's not working. Okay. Nope, that didn't work either. Hold on. Hold on. Studio mode. I refresh this. Alright, let's try this again. Got it.
Poggers.
Let's go. Okay. Take you guys 4 subs and 100 bits. Hella awesome. Also, what the fuck is that Pokemon? What? They have Pokemon hype train emotes now? Yo, they have Pokemon hype train emotes. Oh my god. What the heck? Alright, anyways. So, for those of you who haven't seen or haven't talked to in a while, we have a bunch of new things, right? Okay, so first of all, behind me, we put the curtains up on a track on the ceiling. So they're just like, you can just move them back and forth, and so it looks super nice, right? I like it a lot. And, so I got that, and then, my boyfriend got me the face cam, the Elgato face cam, which is, like, so crisp. Like, look at it, you can see me. It's so crisp and nice. So I upgraded from the Logitech to the face cam. And then, if you look, wait, that way. If you look down there in the bottom left-hand corner, I got a chibi. I got a heckin' chibi. Gilbert, thank you for the sub. Thank you for the sub.
Oh my lord, Santi and asterisk cacti in the same stream?
Yeah.
Simply 347 hype.
Right? Amazing. Also, I need to refund some things. That's mine. Reject. And reject. And reject.
Come on, guys.
Reject.
Can I get some young in the chat?
Alright, there we go. Alright, and then, so I got this chibi down here. So just so you guys know, if you want merch, if you want anything from the current merch store, get it
Thanks for coming
now.
to my stream.
Thanks for coming to my stream. I get it now if you still want any of that because I am discontinuing all of it starting Monday. After that, I'm gonna hopefully have new stuff. I don't know when, but I'm gonna have new stuff, including shirts like this. So, if you want anything from the current store, get it before Monday. Otherwise, it's gone forever and you'll never see it again. The heck of Chibi is so awesome, right? It's so cute. Also, hi Tanya. I don't know if I said hi to you, but hi. Was it released for Chibi stickers? Whatever's on the store right now is what I'm currently selling on for merch, which by the way, I don't make any money off my merch. I only make enough to cover the fees and the cost of making the stuff. Which I'm gonna say this now, that might change for the next store that I open. I might put like a few dollars on there for me to be able to make like $1 or $2 off things. But as for this Chibi merch, that's gonna be on the new merch store. So keep an eye out for that. It might be a while, like probably after Christmas, like in the new year, I would think. So that's what we're doing with merch. You need to order some pins and stickers? Do it if you want it. If you have the money and it won't make you go broke. Because also the shipping can get kind of ridiculous. So I also want to like not print through the store anymore. But we'll see what our other options are. I might just go through Stream Elements. But the only thing about them that I've been kind of wary about is I've heard that their shirt quality, like the images on the front sometimes peel. So if any of you have like bought merch or sold merch through Stream Elements store, let me know what you think of it, because that's a contender for me making stuff. I've also thought about just doing it on Redbubble, but we'll see. We'll see. Stream Elements is Monka for Maple People. Oh no. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I might do it through Redbubble too. I don't know what I want to do yet. Also, another new thing. I don't wear makeup. As you can tell, my face is bare. You can see my freckles and all my acne. I don't wear makeup, right? I've never properly learned how to do makeup. I just know roughly where things go and kind of fake it for cosplay. So, if we hit 55 subs, how do I point? That way. We hit 55 subs for our sub goal. Whenever that happens, if it happens, I will actually learn how to do makeup properly on stream. You guys can help teach me. I'll watch some YouTube videos. We'll all learn together. It's something I want to do, but I've never like had the motivation to actually learn how to do makeup because I have no desire to do makeup on everyday life except for cosplay. When I cosplay, I obviously wear makeup, but I still don't know how to like make it look good. So if we hit sub goal, I'm gonna do that on stream. My skin is beautiful without makeup. Aww. Thank you, Tanya. I appreciate it. Oh my god. Unofficial Soup!
For gifting us some.
Hello!
Thank you for spreading
Soup!
love.
I don't know what your Discord is. If you would like your postcard, I'm on my way. Thank you so much for the 5 gifted subs. If you want your postcard that you get for being a tier 2 sub, Soup. If you want that, DM me your address or a PO box or something to send it to you. If you are not comfortable with that, you definitely don't have to, but all tier 2 and tier 3 subs get postcards. So if you'd like that, let me know. And also a special surprise, maybe a few special surprises in the envelope with tier 2 and tier 3 subs. Depends. It depends on what I have in stock. And before Insta Babe Santy. Oh no. Oh no. Thank you for shouting them out, by the way. Stardew Valley. Are my shoutouts broken? I think my shallots are broken. Alex, shout yourself out. Shout yourself out real quick. Dude, is that a bowing emote? Ooh. Who's that from? Oh, you know, okay. There they are. I just didn't see it. Send it in a whisper? Awesome, possum. Thank you so much. I will add that real quick to my tier list. Sorry while I awkwardly open 20 million tabs so I can add it to my sub list. I will forget otherwise and then I'll be like, oh my god, where is it? There we go. Also, I made a list of all my commands on like an Excel spreadsheet. It's really Google Sheets because it's better. But if you guys know how I can let you guys see that by like using a command or something without you seeing all of my Google stuff, let me know if you have any ideas. Because I have absolutely zero clue actually. Thank you for shouting out Alex. Alex, can you shout out Lessie too? So we're gonna be playing some Leisure Suit Larry. Fair warning, this is an 18+ stream and you will see 18+ content. So if you don't want to see that, I will let you know when we're about to start the game. But what does C/O mean? I'm dumb and I don't know things. I don't know what that means. I'm assuming that's what name you want to be known as, right? Care of. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I like it. I like it. Okay, how did I do that? Me not knowing how to use something I made. Fuck. Alright, so, and I got to put this on there. Nut. Yeah, so you can see all of those. Oh, it's send to this person at this office/building. Got it. They're just hilarious. A game suited for all ages as long as those ages are 18 and older. Oh yeah, I was saying something. I am so like scatterbrained. Yeah. Fuck. What was I saying? What was I even saying? Oh, Leisure Suit Larry. We're gonna be playing Leisure Suit Larry with CactiKLive, Alex, and LessyKBear, otherwise known as Lessie. Which is an 18+ game. It has 18+ content in it, mainly just innuendos and jokes and that such. Absolutely, well, I'm not gonna say absolutely no nudity. There's some hard suggestions in there though. So if you don't like that, I'll let you know when we start the game. Otherwise, feel free to hang out with us and have some fun, some good laughs. It is a really funny game, I'm not gonna lie. Alright, so trigger fire is working, shouts are working. I got Soup's address in my sheet. We are good to go. Okay. Nut. You always thought it was teen as opposed to 18+. Yeah, that's fair. It is a little bit just like raunchy, not really anything terribly bad, but you never know. You never know in this day and age. So I just mark all my streams as 18+ because I don't want any parents coming after me. If their kids are watching me, that's on them, not me. I already put a warning up. There might be some 8-bit pixelated nipples in the latest one. Ooh, you get pixelated nips. It's classified as 17+ by the ESRB, but it's not that kind of game you want your parents to listen to. Yeah, that's for sure. So, The first time I played this game, I was going through the menu and like trying to like figure out all the settings for the game for stream. And all of the menu setting buttons make moaning noises when you change things on them, and I was sitting there dying for literally about 5 minutes because I have the maturity of a 5-year-old. So I was just dying laughing to this menu, just like making all these moaning noises. So yeah, definitely not something you want your parents to listen to. Oh my gosh. I need to make this a little bit bigger. I can't even read all my chat. You remember that moment your sides are fucking orbit? Dude, girlfriend, it's in my channel trailer because it was so good. I was dying. I think your streams are all ages, but your audience makes it 18 plus and you forget to... You're supposed to be all ages. Dude, Soup, technically, like, I'm okay with people under 18 being in my stream as long as you're above 13 because that's the Twitch rules, but as long as y'all are above 13, I don't give a shit. Watch at your own discretion. But like, I do cuss a lot and I do play 18 plus games. Lewis, hello! How you doing? How you doing, Lewis? Everything Lydian Lewis is hot. Hell yeah. What do you mean you're your top 12-year-old fan? You love Roblox? Oh my god. Dude. Roblox. I actually like Roblox. Don't at me. I told you I have the maturity of a 5-year-old, okay? But Roblox, Murder Mystery, is so much fun. Phantom Forces is okay too. Other than that, I haven't really played it a whole lot. But those two Roblox games are a lot of fun. You're technically 18 plus, but you have a maturity level of cracked out 8-year-old. Dude, right? Dude, Roblox Valorant is basically like Phantom Forces. Phantom Forces is basically Roblox COD. It just doesn't have the abilities, you know? Valoblox, Vablox, Vabalox. What? Alex, please. Alex, please. Oh, man. Also, Rob Laurent. Oh my gosh. So also, I'm sick. So if I have to like BRB for a few minutes or just like a couple seconds, that's why. Cause I gotta take care of my sickness. I also got horse pills that are like this big and I can barely even swallow like Advil, so it's been a heckin' trip. It's been a heckin' trip and a half. Gotta get down with the sickness? Dude, leave it to me the one time I actually stream in the entire month to get sick. Oh my god, Gamer resubbed! How you doing, Gamer? 14 months? What the heck?
14 million YEARSSSSSS.
14 million years, let's go! Gamer, you can do my makeup if you come here to do it. The offer is on the table. If you want to come here, we have a couch. We have a couch. You can do my makeup. Can you also teach me how to do my own? Because I don't know how to, clearly. Oh, man. Kick. But yeah. I'll see you in like a week, right? Yeah, you gonna fly out here in like a week? Got you. Got a couch? Can't help you with a car. But I got a couch for you and I'll drive you everywhere. And we live relatively close to a really good boba place. Also, Gamer, did you click on the link? You slept on the couch, get a hotel. Hey, I slept on the couch too and I think it's perfectly comfy. Oh man. Okay. Anyways, did you click on the link though? But for all you who are just tuning in, I do want to let you know one more time that our merch store is going away on Monday. No more of the current merch after Monday. So if you want any of it, make sure you get it now. Because... I'll wait.
I'm gonna say this wrong.
I'll wait. I like the Unca Jam. Hell yeah. Beautiful CactiKLive. Yeah. Anyways, current merch store is going away for good on Monday. No more current merch. Instead, after I'm gonna say after the new year. I think that's what my official statement's gonna be. After the new year, we are going to have new merch that includes my chibi down here. Which, if you want to know who drew my chibi, their name is Lolly on Twitter. If you look down in my about section, I have like an artwork panel. Has their link to their Twitter there. Feel free to DM them with any requests you have. They do emotes, they do chibis, they do full pictures of like things that I can't show you right now. But yeah, they're amazing. Very, very reasonably priced too. Especially for like commission work that you want to put on merch. Very, very reasonable. Must show. I can't show you that. I can show you this. Here's my shirt with a new chibi. Here's my shirt with a new chibi. I'm not doing NSFW art. No. It's just the things that I have currently that I can't show you. I can't show you because I can't show you until after the new year. Because I'm working on things. I'm working on things. I can show you a part of the back of one of the sub cards with my chibi on it. That's one of the sub cards, but you can't see the front of it. You can't wait to see the other things? Leslie, you have an idea of what the other things are. At least part of it. Not all of it, but part of it. You heard this is an 18 plus stream, but no, I don't have SFW art! No! Also, Terry, thank you for the lurk. Barry Terry! You have a negative 69% idea? Let's just say, Alex, you're gonna know before other people are gonna know. How about that? You want to see it again? Scroll up. Scroll up in your DMs. Honestly, the anticipation that makes it all worthwhile. Exactly. It's only like a month and a week. Y'all could do it. You're fine. You're fine. You're fine. Yeah, you'll know, Lessie. I'm gonna roll it out on like a rolling basis though. To start with. It'll make sense. It'll make sense when I like officially announce it on stream. It'll make sense. But yeah, part of it y'all will know in like a month, so don't worry, don't worry. A month and a week is a bajillion years? Nah, it's not a bajillion years. It's not a bajillion years. Also, all the music you're listening to right now, Ducky made. They are an amazing vocalist, and I'm pretty sure they're streaming right now, streaming music. So if you want to go give them some plays on Spotify or add them to your stream playlist, they are perfectly 100% okay with you using it for the stream. So there's their Spotify link. You want to know everything, you'll know. You'll know in due time. In due time. December's gonna be lit. First new Eskimo cowboy song, and now the new Santy stuff, dude. Yeah. Also, for those of you who are still here, I'm gonna show you a little sneak peek of a new scene that I have for December. So I might start at like the next stream after Thanksgiving, whenever that is. But I have a new winter scene, so I'm gonna flash it real fast. Okay, I'm not gonna let you see it for very long. So Pay attention, okay? You ready? 3, 2, 1. I might have to change the text. No, don't clip it. I might have to change the color of the text to make it more visible, or put a background on it. We'll see. We'll see. Gotta make it look more visible though. White on white is that's great. Oh my god, the live action Cowboy Bebop. I haven't seen the anime yet. It's on my list.
Yo, what's going on in the chat? How's everyone doing tonight? I hope you're all doing well, baby.
Yes,
Let's fucking
sir.
go. Let's get some yeses in the chat.
I want to see the live action though, and I've heard that it's really good even if you haven't seen the anime, which is really hard to do, by the way, because most of the time if you haven't seen the anime, you're kind of lost on the live action. But I've heard it's really good on its own, so I can't wait to see that too. I know, it looks so good. I am so behind on like all anime because I have 0 time to do anything anymore. You can see live action without the anime. Yeah, for Cowboy Bebop, that's what I was saying. But like, for some anime, it's just like they try to cram too much into one, or like they don't explain everything the way the anime does, and it's a little confusing. You started watching it, you hope you finish it. Ah, nice. Nice. Putting 100% of my time towards my OnlyFans. Don't spread my secrets, Alex. Told you, you can't spread my secrets. You're a filthy kaijin on anime and animation stuff. Oh my gosh. Oh man. Oh, I saw Dune this past week with some friends. And 10 out of 10, definitely recommend. Great movie. Dune was so good. The good thing about Cowboy Bebop is neither the anime or the live action makes sense. Well, fair enough. I kind of just live in a state of not understanding things, a state of confusion most of the days. Yeah. Yeah, that's me. I live in a state of confusion. Also, Sparrow, what do you know? What are you saying I know right to? No, I think for Cowboy Yeet is the drinks. What? What? Cowboy Yeet. Alright, anyways, are you guys ready for Alex? Alex looking hella spiffy today. Are you guys ready to see Alex in all of his spiffiness? I'm gonna see if Alex do be ready. Alex, are you ready?
Maybe.
Maybe, yes. Okay, so Alex is on video and voice with us. And then we also have LessyKBear on voice with us as well. Lessie, are you there?
I am here.
You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Okay, so there's Alex's Twitch if you want to go check out Alex. And then there's Leslie's Twitch if you want to go check out Lessie. The benefit of living in a state of confusion is the increased chance of making sense of things, which is always uplifting. I mean, I don't know if I ever make sense of anything. Help. Alright. So,
I'll be right back.
okay. Alex, I'm gonna turn on your cam, okay?
Hell yeah.
Never mind. Oh, there it is. It popped back up. Okay. So, this scene Lessie made for us, and she did a heckin' awesome job. Isn't it super cute? I know we used this once before when we did our whole dress up stream. I don't have my outfit here, so I can't do that. But, Alex is dressed up. Look at him. He's wearing the Leisure Suit Larry outfit. Leisure
Hell
Suit
yeah.
Larry.
I mean, 90% of what I do on stream now is costuming up. I think it has become my thing.
I fucking love it. As a cosplayer myself, like, I love seeing other people dressing up as different like characters and stuff. It's so awesome.
I always like liked it too. Like Halloween was always the date in the year that I spent too much money on a great, usually funny costume, and being able to do it every month, every week now, because I'm having a retro stream with costumes that's coming. That's a lot of fun.
Oh my gosh. So do you want to tell people like all the different costumes that you've been wearing lately?
Yeah, I can go through what I have done recently. The most recent one that I've done is a full, complete Watson costume from Apex Legends during my
dope.
Apex stream with Analrad 7777 and Luminous Jade. So we did this big stream on Halloween where we had Lena as Valkyrie, we had Jade as Seer, and I did a full on Watson costume with the wig, the jacket, the jumpsuit, the sweater. I have my Nessie in the background that you guys can kind of see in the camera. I have a very popular point redeem that is called the baguette mode, where I dress up as the most Parisian people on earth, which is kind of weird because I am a French Canadian, and Parisian and French Canadian are not alike at all. But it's a very popular point redeem. And yes, I have now a stream that I do on every Tuesday, and depending on how at which time we finish with Senti today, I might start one right after our stream, depending on how tired I will be, where we go back to the 80s for 1 day a week, where I have a custom overlay. We're putting 80s music. You can request whatever you want, DMC or not, I don't care. And we go back to the 80s.
Hell yeah.
Yes, this is what I had going on right now. I'm super, super hyped about all of this stuff. And yeah, and this is so clever that I've done for Senti stream. So
it's so
yes,
awesome.
that is what I do.
If you guys haven't checked out his streams, he has all of those for point redeems. So go check him out. Earn those points. I personally love baguette mode. Like Gilfriend said, it's amazing. He holds an actual baguette. It's so funny.
Yep.
And
Yeah,
yes,
I got an actual baguette. I got the beret. I got the striped shirt, and I even put on some glasses sometimes to feel the look.
I love it so much. Oh man. They're saying 18 plus streamers. Cacti going to do a live action leisure suit?
Oh, I mean, we had we had an opportunity there to do a leisure strip, but a leisure suit maybe.
Oh no! I think that might be TOS. just a little bit.
Maybe.
Just a little bit. Also, Soup, I can't wait to try poutine. I'm gonna go see Alex sometime next year, which we should probably talk about that. But we're gonna go up there and we have to get poutine. I'm excited to try real poutine.
Yeah, I'm actually starting to compile my favorite restaurants, and I hope you're prepared to eat a shit ton of poutine, because there's like 4 of them that I'm not quite sure which one I should pick. So you might end up by having to eat at several different places.
I'm down. I like food.
Yeah, it's good. It's super good.
Only if Girlfriend comes with us.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we can bring a girlfriend along. It really depends when you come through, because I'm gonna take Sunday off so that I can be there to make you visit the city and everything. And so we will probably not take days off on top of, because I have a shit ton of days off stored up. You can ask Girlfriend. I have like 200 hours and stuff, so I don't mind wasting them.
200? What the heck?
Yeah, more than 200. I don't take a lot of days off.
Holy! Oh my god.
So that's gonna be super fun. And I know you didn't want to come during the winter time.
Nope.
But there's a lot of cool stuff that we can do during the winter time, especially now since I know that you guys don't know what the tube thing to go down the mountain is. You don't have that in the US. And that's so
Oh
much
yeah.
fun.
We talked about that. It's not the inner tubes. I forget what you called them.
I don't know how you call them in English. On appelle juste, we just call it like ghost slide. We in French, the translation is we're going sliding.
I like it.
And those tubes, I remember my parents calling it a donut. Literally, the English word donut, which is not a French word. But Quebecers, we steal a lot of English words because there's English people everywhere around us.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of words that we steal, but we pronounce it with our accent in French, which can be interesting. The one, the biggest one that that we say a lot is, you guys, windshield washer.
Yeah.
So those are the windshield washer. There's like an L that just kind of just slid in there somewhere, and it's a word that we use. Windshield. Windshield washer. Also, that's a way that we also say it.
Oh man.
Le mot trip, oui, le mot trip. The word trip is a word that we use for those donuts too.
That's amazing. Also, no soup. It's not tubing like what we have in the US. It's not an inner tube. It's something different. I saw a picture of it. I don't remember what it looks like though.
Yeah, I can, if you don't mind, I can send the link that I sent to Lena and you.
Yeah.
It's going to be in French, but the pictures are pictures, so you'll be able to see them, even though the words are gibberish for you.
Oh man. Okay. I'm gonna see.
Let me see if I can find
Also,
the
Lessy, I did shout you out for that earlier. I think you were gone though. I need to put that on my abouts panel though. Oh heck. Oh, there you guys go. Click on that link. I swear it's not malicious. Don't worry. Click on that link if you want to know about what you are talking about. It's very hard for me to multitask here. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Brain gang.
Yeah. Lessy, what do you want your link to link to? Do you want to link to your Twitch? Because I'm gonna put that in right now. Boop. Boop boop. Twitchy, okay.
Beep up.
And boop boop. And boop. 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 Oh my god, I'm putting this like inside of somebody else's. I'm literally the worst. Holy. LessyKBear. There we go. Now to take this out of there is because I'm dumb. What did I even do? Oh, that's what I did. I'm so dumb. Okay, there we go. Sorry, okay. Lessy, if you go to the art section, I should link to your Twitch. You've seen that here in New England? Not nearly as epic though. Wait, you live in New England, Soup? Oh my gosh. You guys get hella snow.
Yeah, I assume that the part that are closest to us might do something similar. Because the snow does not magically stop at the border. There's some overlap.
What do you mean? Dude, those huge ones that fit like 20 people. Oh my god, I want to do that.
Yes, it is a lot of fun. That's why I'm saying if you're coming during the winter, that is something that we need to do. If you're coming during the spring and everything, there's more stuff that we can do, especially in Montreal, where you know, especially we can if we can get like temperature hot enough for a terrace, which is the when you know there's some street in Montreal when it's hot enough, it basically the restaurant they kind of open some kind of platform that you can eat outside, basically super near on the
Yeah.
street, and it's super fun. Um, but yeah, it's there's different thing to do depending on the time of the year.
I wanna say it's going to be like beginning of June, end of May area. I think that's what we were looking at for the Cirque du Soleil show.
Okay, ooh, so we're getting some early summer vibes. I can build with that.
Trans-Canada rail trip? Oh, nice. That'd be awesome. Oh, Northern Lights. When do you normally see those?
I don't know.
Or do you ever see them?
I mean, I live in Montreal.
I don't know things.
Northern Lights, are they? No, it's more. It's way more north. I believe. If we even get some.
Soup says they're too far south. I know sometimes the northern states can see them very faintly. Like if they're really, really bright and there's clear skies and nice weather, you can see it pretty faintly, but I don't know like where or when they normally show up. I'm not well versed in the geography and happenings of the earth.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like Quebec is huge. It's like 3 times as big as 3 times bigger than Texas, and so the most northern part definitely has some. But like Montreal is an hour away from the border, so we're pretty much the same as if you would be living close to, the border in Vermont or Maine or New York or close to Detroit. We pretty much have the same temperature. But the more north you go, the more crazy it gets.
That's fair. I saw that. I'm sorry, we're like on this topic for very long, but I saw there was like those glass igloos that you can rent out during like during all year I think, but like especially during the northern light time, and they're like right where you can see it perfectly from like your glass igloo, so you just like look out the windows that's all around you and just it sounds so cool. I want to do it.
I think I know that there's the Festival de Québec, which is the Quebec Festival, which is in the city of the Quebec City itself. They have the big the ice castle that they built. So it's like a big winter carnival that there's there, and there might be those northern lights because it's a little bit more north.
Gotcha.
I know that it's a popular tourist thing during the winter. Quebec City in general is a way more touristic place than Montreal because it's more like you have more of the older buildings from when Quebec was founded like 400 years ago, 425 something.
Gotcha. I haven't been to any part of Canada, so I have zero clue. Zero clue.
Not that different, I think. Everything's in kilometers by hour instead of miles. And,
oh, this gonna be so confusing. Oh my gosh.
You should get both of them on your speedometer. They're the small numbers. They're kilometers.
I don't know. I think mine has that, but I can change on mine. So I don't use my speedometer. I have like a little display that tells me numbers because I'm lazy as fuck. I can change that to kilometers in the settings.
Yeah, you're gonna need it on our side. 'Cause I know my car has both miles and kilometers.
Yeah. We won't be driving my truck though. We're gonna be driving the boy's car because he just got a brand new one specifically for road tripping.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Ooh.
got one specifically for road tripping. It's super nice.
Hell yeah.
But anyways, no problem, Soup. And thank you all for sticking around. For everyone who's still here, are we ready to start the game? Come here. I thought that you couldn't go, Lessy. Anyways, I don't remember what we're doing at all in this game, do you?
I don't. I pulled the walkthrough, so we'll need to boot the game and see where we are and what we're doing, because I have no idea.
Alright, let's
I have
go.
a faint idea that I know what we have done.
How do I... Nope, that's not right. How do I... Okay, there's that. There we go. So... What am I doing with these people?
We have, I think, we had finished the first 3 timber matches. So we now have 3 more timber matches. We have the sporty girl, we have the Indian girl that is the elf spawn, I believe. Yeah, Dick is still on the map, and we have Naru, which is the software engineer that is working at Prune.
Gotcha.
Also, you need to restart the stream on Discord because of computer going brr.
Oh, computer went brr. Correct.
Thank you. So yeah, I think what we will have to do is try to see if you can move forward with any of the matches, because I have literally no idea what we have and what we don't, and I kind of have to reset myself into the walkthrough to see what you're missing or not. So it's up to you. Go explore. Do the Santi thing.
Okay. Okay. Also, let's see. I'll talk to you about it after stream. Okay. So home. Fuck. Not home. Go outside. Okay, so that girl's at the fitness place. Let's go to the fitness place. Oh wait, fitness place is over here. Heck.
Hello, Mr. Swango. Enjoy your training.
The Twingle. Okay. What do you want?
Forget appointments. It's time for our date.
Yeah?
I want you to show me how to enjoy life again. Do you have a room where we can have some privacy?
I'm working on it.
Let me know when you have a room.
Okay.
Where we can go and be alone. Just the 2 of us.
I thought we had our own room already. Did we not?
I think we still have to fix the
Stay fit.
we still have to fix the machine the for Lefty, because I'm not sure if you fixed it or not, or if he asked us something. I think we need to brew a batch of barbarian brew, maybe.
Okay.
Something I could do for you, Larry? Well,
do you have a room available?
available? You know, for when the ladies come to call.
Yeah, the room upstairs. If you can pay.
Maybe I can work off the rent.
Get me the new ingredients for the barbarian brew, and you can have the room.
So...
Alright, so...
How do I know what the ingredients are?
See you later.
I think you have a recipe in your items that you can read.
Oh,
so
you're right.
That doesn't help me.
It does help. How do fuck?
I think you...
Okay. Lefty. Something to enhance the beer's taste and aroma. Something that'll turn the beer high octane.
What?
Something completely natural with a vitalizing effect.
Okay, so you do have some ingestible ingredients by maybe giving them to him. Let me see. How?
I don't think so. Something completely
There we go.
natural with a vitalizing effect.
I got one.
Yeah, that should work. Thanks, Larry.
Hell yeah.
What about this?
He wouldn't like that.
Nope. Something. What was the other two? Something to like make it
High
better.
octane
Yes.
and something. I don't remember the last one.
That's much too. The ingredients I'm supposed to get left. Something to enhance the beer's taste and aroma.
Okay.
Something that'll turn the beer high octane. Something complete.
Well, this enhances an aroma. Oh my god, actually gonna put perfume in it?
Yeah, that really does smell extraordinary.
The fuck? Are we killing people?
We're fine.
That's not a good.
Okay, so high octane though. We probably don't have that, do we?
I don't think so.
Let me see. What's the last item that we need to give him?
Yeah, I don't think lube plunger. Oh my god, I don't think we have it.
Let me see if I can find it.
All right. Oh my god, it's the Eye of Sauron up in the top left. That's amazing. Oh my god, 10 months?
What the fuck is up?
What the fuck? Oh my god, 10 months? Holy. Thank you so much for the reshop. How are you doing? I saw you playing League earlier. Been here for a minute? Oh no. What was that about, Alex?
Okay, so get outside of lefties. I need to check something.
Okay.
I'm gonna help you. Okay, so you did cut the bush, revealing that little thing here.
Yes.
So to get the last ingredient for lefty, you need to fix that machine.
Oh.
I think. Yeah, you need to fix that machine, and to fix that machine, you need an item that I'm gonna search. Okay, so you cannot do that right now.
Okay.
You need to. So okay, you're locked for the sports girl. You need to complete. I think you need to complete Nari first.
So this one?
Yeah, the software engineer.
Okay, what she want? You're playing with some Carissa? I saw that! I was hella jealous. I've been working on stuff all day. I got in like 2 games of TFT before stream and that's about it.
People, what is it now? How are sales? So.
Everybody knows the new model will be out soon.
Catch you later.
Okay.
People, what is it? Catch you later. I guess you need an access card for that.
Wait. Oh, I had to. Sorry.
Yeah, take a look in your inventory because I remember. You do remember, that we created a stripper intern contract by using a flashlight.
Yeah. Yes.
And we got this magnificent card.
I don't think I've talked to her yet.
No, I think it's the first time.
She's so cute. Look at that outfit. Holy hell. Wow. She's so cute.
Pardon me?
What?
Oh, you speak our language.
Oh my god, that's so racist.
And programming languages.
But you are Japanese,
No, I'm American. My mother comes from Korea.
Wow. You are a girl, aren't you? You know,
Oh god.
special character?
Larry,
I
no!
get you had a traumatic experience in a massage salon in Thailand, didn't you?
Larry, no!
I just wasn't too sure.
There's so much
What's your name?
offensive shit just in this one interaction. I'm so sorry.
Best to just call me Nari. That's what everyone calls me here. And it's the name I use on the net.
I'm Larry. Larry Laffer.
Larry
Oh my
Laffer?
god.
You're my newest match in Timber. You look way different than your profile picture. And as for your outfit...
Which one? Which one do you think I should go for?
Yeah, I mean, you're the latest with Santi. You know, you're the best that know how to flirt.
I'll do this
I
one.
know you like what you see.
I'll do that one.
Knew it! I knew it! You're a cosplayer. You dressed up as that sleazy guy from the 80s computer games.
Wait, hold on. As himself? Hold on.
Cosplayer? Although I have splayed a few things in my life.
OMG! You portray him so perfectly. I finally meet up with someone as nerdy as I am.
God, I love her. Wanna ride my joystick? Ooh woo.
Ooh woo.
Wanna ride my joystick?
Ooh,
Senpai. As much as I love to nerd out with you, I still have to finish work on the prototype today.
You mean that new phone?
Exactly! BJ needs the new Pi updated before the big show. We've been crunching for 6 months, but there's still some details to iron out.
But once everything's ironed, you're free.
Yes, as soon as one version of the device passes all its tests, it's finally quitting time. By the way, what do you do here?
An internship?
Oh, great! Then I have a quick assignment for you. My biggest problem is lack of sleep. Could you maybe get me some caffeine?
Hell yeah, I can get you some
We
caffeine.
cosplayers have to stick together.
I'd like a tall, hot, stiff vanilla latte. The coffee machine's over there.
Wait, there's a ball pit? Is this Dashcon?
That's fine, just
What?
the way it is.
So I just go over to the machine? Alright. That makes no logical
A
sense.
vanilla latte? That was easier than I expected.
Bruh, it just appeared out of nowhere. What the heck?
Hell yeah, that's how it is.
It looks like shit.
A tall, hot, stiff vanilla, please.
Your cosplay is absolutely perfect. It's just the kind of line that Sleazeball would have used.
Oh my god.
Yeah, precisely. All just play act.
I've never had an intern who brought me the right coffee right away. Don't you disappear as suddenly as the last one. You're doing a really good job, both as a cosplayer and as an intern. You might be able to give me a hand with some critical tasks.
My hands are ready.
Both the resilience and the cycle profile of the new assistant, the new Pi, still have to be improved for the presentation. But I can't leave this room. Wait, I'll upgrade your access card. The elevator will take you to the tech lab. I'll use the speakers to explain how to run the experiments from here.
Test lab, access card, experiments. On my way. And when the show is over, we can go out?
Precisely.
Alright, I may have blanked out for a second there, vibing to the music. What are we doing?
We are taking the elevator.
Yes, the elevator.
Yeah, we all stand now. I know why you were distracted there.
You know. She's so cute! Tech lab. I do remember hearing lab.
Hell yeah.
Oh my god, there's so much stuff here.
Hello?
Aww.
Pie?
I didn't say anything. That voice sounds familiar. Facial scan completed. Larry Laffer recognized.
Why does she sound so
Hi.
scary at first?
Thing I found in
Or
that
not scary,
soggy
scared.
mud lefties. And when all the madness started.
Larry, you had a personal intelligence before me.
Uh-oh.
So my favorite character of all the two reboot games It is
New city
Pi. Pi is
functions.
great, and she'll take a
you're related.
bigger and bigger place as the game advances.
Ugh. Wait.
What exactly is the difference between you and my pie?
I'm the improved version in every sense.
Bruh.
If you were programmed to feel pain, that might have hurt. But as it is,
Don't worry, Pie. We belong together.
I know you a little now,
Heck.
and I know how low your standards are.
Damn!
You've been further improved.
Yes, I can't take it anymore. They put me through countless tests, and with every new test, the device is destroyed, and I'm transferred to a new model. You don't know how painful a reboot like that can be.
Oh god.
Does an artificial intelligence also feel artificial pain?
Imagine your brain is so developed that you are aware of every single aspect of your being.
I can. I can imagine.
Oh my
Very
god.
easily.
All your senses are developed to the fullest.
Oh.
And every day, you are hunted through hellfire, your body sawn through, disintegrated, or exposed to deadly radiation.
Sounds like a magic trick gone wrong.
And just when you think they finally pulled the plug, you find yourself in a completely new body and go through it over and over again. But your mind hasn't forgotten a thing.
Sounds
It'd be
awful.
like waking up in Lefty's bar over and over again.
You have to
Oh, I
pass the
get that
test.
reference.
But I have to follow Mary's instructions.
She won't notice a thing. Trust me.
I saw this and I got it. I get it. Most reboots fail anyways.
Most reboots fail. Don't give up. I'll save you.
Larry, don't dawdle. We don't have much time.
Help me.
Oh my god.
You got to save Pi. Pi is the best character of the series.
I don't think there's a pie in there. And I don't think the machine responds to speech.
Okay.
I don't think there's a pie.
Okay. What that?
Well, here we go.
What? No, I'm not protected.
Oh, don't be such a baby. That's the way I always go too.
Uh-oh. Did I just kill her?
No!
Probably.
Oops.
Whoops.
Don't you ever do that again. Cremation sucks.
Oh no!
I've got to protect her from the heat somehow.
Oh no! I got a thermal jug. Can I put her in there?
That doesn't protect again.
But yeah, it does.
Let me see.
I don't think I have it yet. Also, there's a battery that I need.
Can't be opened just like that.
But I need it. Hi, gamer. Welcome back. Gamer says you looking
I don't think
spiffy.
so.
Hell yeah.
What
My
is this?
laser suit Larry
There's no
look.
way in heck I'm sliding down that.
Oh my god. Alright, so I need to protect her from heat.
Yeah, open up your
Display.
item thing so I can see what you have in your inventory.
If I put her in a
so
bra.
Can you check what's the fourth one on the top row? Can you
This?
give me the name? Okay,
Molten
so it's
Slushy.
Okay, cool. So I know what you have now. So when you need tips, just let me know.
Do I have the thing that I need?
Yes and no.
I have to combine something.
No.
What?
So I believe
That doesn't
this is a
protect heat.
time-sensitive oh yeah, so you have one version of the thing,
Okay.
and you need to get another version of the same thing, but protect it with one item that you have.
Access card for that.
Okay.
So think protecting from fire in a cartoonish way.
A cartoonish way.
Yeah, it's definitely not something that would work in real life.
What's that? Pencil sharpener?
Please don't touch that. That's
Bruh. Red ball.
This red ball doesn't look like the other balls.
Heh, balls.
Hey, you should focus on your work.
She won't let me look.
She's not really doing anything, is she?
That thing is too complicated for me.
If I put this.
That doesn't.
Nope.
That doesn't help me. That is not a good idea. I can't climb up there. I had a bath 30 years ago.
No.
Oh no. Wait, scan DNA scanner. Okay, I have this.
I don't think so.
No.
Please don't touch that.
Okay.
Please don't touch
it.
that.
Don't touch it.
Larry, what are you still doing here? The elevator will take you to the tech lab. I'll use the speakers to explain how to run the experiments from here.
Test lab? Access card? Experimental? I'm on my way. And then we can finally go out.
I can hardly wait.
So, I'm assuming it's not in this building.
No, it's not.
Okay, cool. Like, I didn't see anything in here, so good.
So I'll give you a small hint.
Oops.
The general area that you need to go is the new Lost Wages strip.
Okay.
Like the street where there's the bar, the store, and the gym.
Okay. Gotcha. If I go on the slide, I wind up in the ball pit. I tried that. He was too chicken to go down it. Also, hello. How you doing tonight, Fred? Ashtray?
That was a stupid thing to do last time around.
So yeah, it's inside of one of the buildings.
Yeah. I'm gonna go through all of them. Literally all of them.
So while you do that, I'm gonna go refill my wine because it's empty.
Okay.
Right back.
Yo, same, Fred. I get so tired so quickly these days. Been going to bed before midnight? What is this? What that?
Once enough. Otherwise...
Smells like sausage. Can I take that this time? I don't know if I can take that this time. We'll see. Okay. What's back here? Slushy. Can I fill this with a slushy? Nope.
Hold up.
What?
Be more precise with your click.
Not necessary. That's fine.
Okay, so
That doesn't help.
you get the right idea
so.
with the thermos.
Okay.
You just need to do it differently. You need to combine with the thermos.
It doesn't have to be kept either warm or cold.
Yeah, so you have molten slushy. You need cold one first. And you can. I'm pretty sure you cannot make the one that you have cold.
The way it is.
I think you just need to reactivate the machine.
Oh.
I'll throw away the melted slushy.
Okay, cool. That works. Oh, we have to get it first.
Hell yeah.
You wind up getting less than 4 hours of sleep. Dude, I feel that. I think I got like 3 hours of sleep last night. I just like laid in bed.
keep it nice and cool.
Awesome. Alright, let's go.
Hell yeah.
Oh no, she'll let me keep the unicorn head now. Nope, she's not. Damn it.
Hey, you can't just take that unicorn kit. But it's not for sale anyway because
Bruh. I wanted it. I wanted it.
The ornicorn
I know.
4000. I know you want one like that, Fenty.
Alright, alright. Ooh, Fred, did you see the new chibi? It's going to be on future merch. Wait, no, wrong one! No, this is the right one, never mind. I lied. Right? It's so cute, Fred! I love it. Okay. Protopie.
That should really cool it down. Well,
Now let's try it.
Well, let's hope this works.
Yeah, you'll see. You'll start to understand why I love pie. Like the evolved one.
Hey, it worked.
Worked like a charm. And the cup survived too.
Nice, nice. What's the
Yeah,
second
you-
one?
Okay, so look at the little display.
And I don't think the machine responds to speech.
Wait, display.
Like the little red display, like right on top of the like the little.
Oh.
Display.
So that's that's the next test. For this one, you do have the item that you need. But I'm not gonna say more because you do have the item. So
The bra should withstand the salt.
Hehe.
hell yeah.
Let's go.
Nothing can go wrong.
That's what you say.
Don't get cut, Pie. Don't get cut. Hell yeah. Bring me some too, Lessie. I've only been able to eat like 3 chicken nuggets today.
Nuggies.
Yeah, but like only 3.
Now let's see people say that sexy armor doesn't provide any protection.
Why is the bra indestructible? Because it's made of metal. Radiation.
Hell yeah. You are missing the third test item, but you have the fourth one. So the third test item is in the carnival area.
Okay. Radiation.
Yeah, radiation.
Radiation.
Radiation, smuriation?
Oh man, okay. Carnival. I like this area. It's fun.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look over here first. Oh, they're still together. Look at them.
We stand.
Hell yeah. I don't think it's gonna be this, but I don't remember interacting with it. Alright, cool. Let's go in there. See what's in there. Maybe I can buy something from that lady. Slot machine. An embossing machine. Campaign on it. Candles? Can I take the candles?
I do want to burn myself.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Nice.
All the flowers look good with. I'm done with that for now.
Okay, there's Lolly from Animal Crossing.
A doubloon should do as a means of payment in the 21st century. Besides, I'm not greedy, at least with money.
Do I have anything down, boss? I don't think I do. Nope.
No, I
Alright.
think we already used it.
I think so.
I sure showed them.
What about you?
happened to you?
Your flyer opened my eyes, Larry. 11, 11, 11.
What?
They don't want us to think for ourselves.
Also,
They're
sunblocker?
trying
What's
to
sunblock?
manipulate our
Oh!
brainwaves with
Oh,
these
I
smartphones
understand.
to control every last aspect of our lives.
Oh my.
Get the torches and pitchforks.
Wake up, sheeple.
Oh my
Here.
god.
Will protect
In
you
today's
from them.
context, that's hilarious.
Make sure they don't kidnap you.
Yeah, they did a great job of bringing that leadership Larry to the to the 2020s.
Oh yeah.
Because you know the you could easily make something that is super rude, but I think they're doing it really well because they kind of hit everybody while staying respectful, and no, they really did a great job.
God, this is so funny. What year was this made?
This game?
Yeah.
This one is 2018, I believe.
Gotcha. Yeah, that would make sense.
I think this has a 50-50 chance of working.
Oh no.
November 7th, 2018. Yeah.
Hey, it came out on my birthday!
Oh no.
Lewis, thank you for gifting a sub to Tanya and to Peaches.
Thanks for coming to my stream.
Thank you
And
for
the second
gifting
one,
it.
Hell yeah.
Alright, what's that? Bullet?
That's just to display.
Thank you for shouting out Lewis. Appreciate.
Hell yeah. I've been doing mod stuff for other streamers where I actually have to work, so I do stuff normally now.
And for gifting you with the Drago? Why am I tired all of a sudden? Fuck. Thank you for gifting one to Drago. Wait, what about Amir?
I was always good with physics.
Hell yeah, you're
Let's
starting
go.
to get the logics of those games.
Logic.
Now the laser should be deflected.
Yeah, it's consistent in its inconsistencies.
Oh my god. What? Tim? What the fuck? Tim! Oh yeah! Alright, hold on. I gotta pause the game.
And the mirror is almost intact too.
It worked, Opa!
Finally, the ordeal
I
comes
gotta
to an
pause the game. How do I pause the game?
You're in the cutscene.
No! Gamer, no!
You're in a cutscene.
Welcome back, Santy. 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 Welcome
so you
back,
can
Santy.
pause now.
Welcome
Yeah,
back,
yeah,
Santy.
yeah.
Welcome back, Santy. 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 Welcome back, Santy.
Did we get a shout out for Tim? We did. Thank you for shouting Tim out. Tim, thank you for the raid. How was your stream? Playing Final Fantasy? The fourth one? Oh my god! All the things are happening!
Welcome back, Santy. We missed you. Simply 347 hearts. Simply 347 Bantan. Simply 347 lurk. Simply 347 OMG. Simply 347 high. Simply 347 Heya. Simply 347 Cry. Simply 347 Pascal. Simply 347 yes sir.
Yes, sir! Yeah!
Yo, what's going on,
We
chat?
love
How's
Santy.
everyone
We
doing
love
tonight? I hope you're all
Santy.
doing well,
Dog
baby. Let's
RT.
fucking go.
Welcome
Let's
back,
get some
Santy.
answers in
Simply
chat.
347 heart tis raid dog RT. Welcome back, Santy. Simply 347 heart tis raid dog RT. Welcome back, Santy. Simply 347 heart tis raid dog RT. Welcome back, Santy. Simply 347 heart.
Thank you
Riku,
for gifting
oh
us
my god!
Thank you for
Oh
spreading
my
love.
Okay, I got a backlog of stuff here. Hold on. Tim, thank you again for the raid, for resubbing. Lewis, thank you for the 100 biddies. Gamer, thank you for the 100 biddies. Rita, thank you for the 5 subs. The gifted subs. Holy fuck. That was so much. You just don't have to do any of that. Holy heck. Well, welcome in to everybody from Tim's stream. We got Peaches, we got Tim, we got Cupcake, we got Drago, we got Gamer, we got Lewis. How y'all doing? How was Tim's stream? That chaos! I know, right, Gamer? I love you guys too, Cupcake. Holy heck. And I missed you guys too. We got some new emotes. That's the one thing I forgot to share. We got new emotes. Thank you for sharing those. What is it? We got this one and this one and this one. I think are the new ones you guys haven't seen before. But yeah, one of those is Gamer, by the way. Oh my god, you guys started a hype train. How dare? How dare? We got 35 out of 55 for the sub goal. I honestly wasn't expecting to get anywhere close today. What's
Thank you for gifting us up. Thank you for spreading
Alright!
love.
I guess we're doing a makeup stream! So Gamer, when you're flying out... What the fuck, man? Thank you for 20 gifted subs! Why? You don't have to do that! Wait, what? What happened? I missed it. I'm so far behind. I'm so far behind in the chat. Be right back to you. Grab Din Din. Give me Din Din. Me and Rin. Ah, 2 pieces in a pot. I love that. I love that so much. Oh my gosh. There's so many people that got him. Oh my god. So many IRL friends got him. Izzy got one. Aww. A lot of my IRL friends got one. Skooma got one. Holy. Holy, you're playing on now? Alright. I got you. I got the couch ready for you, Gamer. You like building parts? Noted. Also, Berg. Holy heck. There's so much happening. There's so much happening. Oh my god! First of all, I'm gonna preface this by saying this is an 18+ game. Or at least a mature content game. There's a lot of innuendos and dildos everywhere, so...
What do you mean? There's none of that in Leadership Larry.
Fuck! Berg, how was your stream? Did you finally beat the oatmeal box? Oh my god. Thank you for the raid. Welcome in, Berg. Inzuru, how you doing? Sparkle, welcome in. Oh my gosh. Thank you for hitting that loud. Appreciate. You guys so close. Oh my god, how many hours are you at on this now? Also, thank you for the lurk, Lewis. What's a dildo? I don't know, man. My mom never explained shit to me. You think 24? Wait, how much did you say Sonic was? I already forget. Oh my gosh. Is the chaos over? Is the we got 10 seconds left of chaos, okay. Y'all get 10 seconds left. Sonic was 18. I am so sorry. Hive chain complete! Level 5! Level 5! 200 and something %. What the fuck? 28 subs and 200 bits. You all are fucking nuts. That's all I gotta say. Ooh, wait, what's this emote? What's this emote? Hype on. Oh, it's so cute! Look at it! a squirrel. There's a squirrel playing a saxophone. Is that what that is? Did I just see that? No, it's popcorn. I've been lied to. Still, it's a squirrel eating popcorn.
Hold up. Squirrel playing a saxophone, popcorn.
I mean,
how can you make both of those?
It looks like a saxophone. I don't know what to tell ya. Also, I'm gonna do a shameless plug real quick while we got peoples here. If y'all want to sign up for Hover, it's basically TikTok for streamers and gamers. You just watch people play, like, you watch people with their clips. You upload game clips, stream clips, TikToks, whatever you want to upload to it. And you can watch them, support your fellow streamers, or if you're streaming yourself, it helps you grow your channel. And when you submit videos, you can enter in the challenges for Mun. I've already won $50, and I'm almost at 900 followers already, and I haven't streamed in a month. I think when I stopped streaming, I was in the lower 800s. Hover has literally gotten me almost to 900 without streaming at all. You're at 29 hours on Omeal. Oh my god. That's insane. But yeah, Hover, fantastic app. Highly recommend. All the referral code does is make you follow me. That way I know that you're on the app and I can follow you back. That's all it does. Right? That is so wow. 29. Right? Is that what you said? 20. Oh my god. I've lost my scroll. Fuck. Yeah, 29. That's absolutely insane. Stop leaking my secrets, Alex! Stop leaking the secrets!
I mean, it's the Elizabeth Larry stream. It's Senti After Dark.
I'm done!
I just want to activate my goddamn pink filter, but I'm not on my stream.
Right? Okay, that's Alex, by the way. Oh, heck. If I can type properly. Go check out Alex. Amazing streamer, by the way. He got me into this game, and so we've been streaming it together whenever somebody redeems that we play the game. It's only upon redemption. So there's a redemption point thingy that says that I'll play a game with you. So you can be our third backseater. Second backseater, if you would like to redeem it again.
Just saying, it's only 11k points. It's 100% worth it. Because it's...
Right? But Enzo says that you're a dapper dressed man looking like Larry in your top notch.
Hell yeah, that's the only thing that I can do right. I mean, the streams are shit, but the costumes are great. So, it kind of equals,
Oh my god.
back the balance.
Your streams ain't shit! Don't let him fool you, chat. He's an amazing streamer, okay? Top, 2% of Twitch, right? Top 1% of Twitch, even? Man, thank you so much for the leg. I appreciate. Right, gamer, exactly. Best streams. Also, real quick, I want to show you guys who just came in real fast. My new little chibi, look at it. It's so cute. It's also my t-shirt.
My stream.
Also, thanks for coming to my stream. Anyways, yeah. I wanted to show you guys my little TV because it's so cute, and Lily did such a humongously awesome job on that. So that's gonna be on the new merch whenever the new year comes around. I had so much that I did. Also, I upgraded my face cam to the face cam. The Elgato face cam. Your boyfriend got it. For my birthday present. Top notch chibi, right? If y'all want to know who drew it, Lolly on Twitter, down in the artwork panel in my about page, there's a link to her Twitter, their Twitter. I don't know what they go by. I don't know their pronouns, but their Twitter down there in the about section. Yes. Why is that still up? There's a 94% chance of love between me and gamer. Wow. And you only have a timber score 56. Heckity heck.
Yeah, I mean, my timber score is pretty representative of of Larry, I guess.
Oh no! I guess
So
it
if you wanna get-
fits.
If you want to get your Timber score in chat, exclamation point Timber, and if you find someone that you want to swipe on Timber, swipe their name.
Oh!
And I'm pretty sure it stores the amount of time someone has been swiped.
It does, it does. So, I think it's exclamation mark swipe, right?
Hell yeah.
Anyways.
Okay, so let's do something. Let's do that. The person that has been most swiped at the end of the stream gets a free tier 3 sub from me.
Wait, the end of like today's stream? Whoever got
Yes,
like on today?
today's stream.
Well, so far, Inzuru.
Yourself.
So far, Inzuru's at the top, so
Hell
get to
yeah.
swiping, folks. Are you gonna
You
keep
cannot
count?
swipe yourself.
Are you-
Don't swipe someone twice. Try to be fair, and we'll see who ends up on top.
Are you gonna keep count?
I will try. I'll pop a notepad and
Wait, so okay, the other one from the other stream doesn't count, right?
yeah,
Or is it
I'm
total?
I'm gonna tally them separately.
Okay. So right now we got Inzuru, Lessy, and Gamer at 1.
Yeah.
Holy heck! 3-way tie. What if there's a tie?
What if there's a tie? Cage match to the death. No, I'm gonna ask a Laser Suit Larry question, and the first to answer is gonna get the sub. You can use Google, you can use whatever. I'm gonna be pretty specific. My Laser Suit Larry knowledge is not that bad, so you can ask a Laser Suit Larry team question that you need to ask if there's a tie.
Oh heck! All right. I'm gonna put the swipe commands in my description then. There we go. Swipe. Alright, guys, you heard it. You heard it here. If you want a chance at getting a tier 3 sub from Alex, all you gotta do is just get those swipes in. Swipe each other. You know you love each other. Alright.
Yeah.
So, back to the game though. We just passed all the tests for the new Pi phone, right?
Yes.
And now, I don't even know what she was saying before now.
Yeah, so she was saying that you need to calibrate Pi.
Okay.
And so you keep up with the conversation. You should be good for that step. You have everything that you need.
Gotcha. Also, Captain Nightlives, hello. First time chatter. Wows. How you doing? Also, hi Quilpy. Welcome in. Just gotta preface this again. This is a mature content stream, and if you don't like mature content like innuendos and dildos, this is your warning. Also, yeah, cash. Alex is giving away a tier 3 sub to whoever gets swiped the most times. So get to swiping, folks. Alright, I'm gonna do...
Can you
God.
send me a copy? I can't read the writing.
Yes, can I help you?
Your eyes aren't that bad yet.
Oh my god. Wait, is this from the place? Oh my god.
All 3 places.
Oh my gosh. Thank you.
And that's
Oh my god, guys, look what I just... Look what the boyfriend just gave me.
Woo.
It's a half much Sunday.
That looks good.
Oh my god. Maybe. Oh, I think Leslie's in the lead with swipes now. Swipe
Yes,
me,
she
daddy.
is.
Oh my gosh. Only Sandy, stop the secret. Don't tell them my secret. Jeez, Josh. Alright, no problem, gamer. Have fun. Have fun with your night. Also, I'm gonna take a bite of this because it looks so fucking good. Oh my god.
Mukbang Fenty. Mukbang Fenty.
That's so good. Oh my god. Poggers. Thank you, gamer. I'm glad to be back. It's been a whole fucking month.
Guess
Don't
who's
shut
back?
me out.
Back again. Fenty's back. Love friends.
Oh my gosh. This is so good though.
Be if that script been burned.
The script is torn. Come on, Larry. Stop making jokes.
There was kind of an accident with the laser.
Wait, we burned something?
The games are quitting time.
Yeah.
Boy.
Okay.
So basically what happened, in the last step, you use the mirror to reflect the laser. What happened is that there was a script taped somewhere, I'm not quite sure, I missed it, but the laser popped on the mirror and burned the script, which is the thing that you need to use to calibrate Pi. And now you're trying to get another version of the script that we can clearly see there was only one copy.
Gotcha. Alright. Understood. Also, Oni. Sir Oni, thank you for the follow. Welcome in. Hope you're having a great night. Sorry, continue.
Yeah, so I was gonna finish on, as a software engineer myself, this is a nightmare scenario. Always back up your stuff, people. Always back up your stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You use the 3-2-1 rule.
3 hard copies?
So the 3-2-1 rule, yeah, so it's 3 different copies, 2 of which are in the same area with different medium, and 1 is a off-site copy. So, for example, you have your laptop, you have 1 copy on the laptop, 1 copy on an external hard drive, and you have an extra copy on an external hard drive at your mother's home, for example. That's the 3-2-1 rule.
That's a good thinking. Good idea. I like
it's mainly for, I would say company use. The 3-2 rule for individual is kind of works because the one from the 3-2-1 is, for example, if you get like a flood or something that like breaks your 2 local copies, you have 1 at a different place that you can use to restore your copy.
I like that. I'm gonna use my hard drive at somebody because I have 2 externals and my computer hard drive for my my photography stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You hear that, folks? Make copies of your shit.
Yes, the more copies, the better. The thing that you don't want to lose, and usually it's not that big. It's not like you have like 6 terabytes of stuff that you use. Don't 3-2-1 your porn, people. 3-2-1 the important stuff.
But that's important to some people. I don't know, man.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know. But 3-2-1 the important stuff. So get 3 500 gigabyte discs. They're hard drive. They're like 20-30 bucks now.
500 gigabytes, cute. Dude, mine are like 5 terabytes. Like, I'm not even joking.
Yeah, but in your case, it's like raw photography stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So many files, so big files.
So okay. But what she's not saying is like 1 terabyte of photos and 4 terabytes of porn. So let's continue.
Okay, yes, continuing.
What's the worst that can happen from a field
Accurate.
If an AI is not perfectly
I
calibrated,
knew it.
it can develop
Oh my
a
god.
powerful will of its own, which in turn can cause the entire
Selling me
system
out.
to overheat.
Oh, okay. Well, even if it does explode, it can't do that much damage, seeing as it's so tiny.
Well, you are an expert in tiny things. Follow the instructions on the flip chart and set up the new assistant.
Oh my god! Ouch! I was hoping she'd make that joke.
Say, "Okay, Pi, software calibration," to start the process.
Sure. So, Pi.
Yes?
Not you. That other thing.
Fine then. Just see where it gets you. I have nothing to say to you.
New Pi. I'm supposed to figure your software?
Haven't you done enough to me? Do you enjoy torturing me?
Yes.
It shows. I won't let you get into my system and...
Okay, Pi. Software calibration.
Software calibration mode active. Set empathy value.
Oh! 69.
The joke with 3.14 is it's pi.
Yeah. Wait, what was that value I'm supposed to be setting for this one?
No idea. Sorry.
3.14.
Set paranoia value.
69.
Software calibration.
I'm gonna make her completely fucked.
What have you done? How did you set me up?
Don't worry, baby. I know which buttons to push with women.
You goddamn...
I have to be going now.
I don't ever want to see you again. If your dirty fingers ever touch me again, then...
Oh my gosh. Look. Knocking shit over. Okay, so passed. So now I gotta go talk to the chick, right?
Hold up. You have a new
battery.
area.
It wasn't me.
Yeah.
Of course.
So yeah. So when you find a new area, always take the time to check if you can pick up stuff.
I have a new area?
It's gonna help you a lot.
Wait.
Yeah. This is a new area.
Oh.
But you.
I mean, I already knew I needed the battery. I just forgot about it.
Big brain Santy.
Office. Let's see what this chick says. I love her so much. Look how cute she is, guys. Quilpy, I don't know if you're still here, but I think you would appreciate this character. She's so cute. Britt! Hello! How are you doing?
So everything worked out?
Of course.
And you stuck exactly to the prescribed parameters?
You
Oh
bet
my
I did.
god.
Good. We have some Pi versions that developed weird traits when we tweaked their characters. We had to destroy them before worse happened.
Oh, heck.
So, now we can go on our date?
Well, I have a rule that I only go out with serious nerds. You're obviously a great cosplayer and also a great guy, but you're not half as nerdy as I am.
How do you know?
There's no way you can keep up with me on the nerds.
Doing okay? Good to
yeah.
hear.
What was
I
the most
understand
famous
being
game
tired.
console of the
Holy.
80s?
The Super Megaton.
True enough. And how many colors did the Super Megaton have?
Oh.
16.
Correct.
Oh.
And the rarest game is?
Treasure Loot Terry.
What?
Wow, you got them all
What?
right. Larry, you are an uber nerd.
What? Did they just do that in their own game?
My skills.
I still need
Yep.
the ultimate proof that you have truly awesome nerd credibility. Bring me a Treasure Loot Terry module.
Oh, nothing could be easier.
And once you've done that, we can totally nerd out.
Oh
Wink, wink.
my.
Ooh, my.
Oh my gosh.
Ooh,
Britt.
Mari.
I have a question. Can you remind me of your Discord name? Because I think I know what it is, but I want to make sure I know what it is. Store. Let's go. Let's go put the battery in the thingy-majigger.
Ooh.
Ooh. Ooh.
Ooh.
Battery. Battery.
Battery.
What?
Whoa.
What?
Another strange earthquake.
What do you mean another?
Beam me up, Scotty. Oh, it's working again.
What? What? What?
The battery is powering the lights in the elevator again. I wonder what kind of stuff is hidden down here. I should have a look around.
Oh my.
So that's the spot where you started the game.
I hope I
Yeah.
don't get shocked.
If I could discharge mine to zap you, I would.
Be my. Okay, that's what I thought. That's what I thought. I just wanted to make sure because there was one person in the. Oh heck! I hit the wrong button. There was one person in the server that I didn't know who they were, and I want to make sure it wasn't you, just in case. Cassette.
There's a cassette in there, but it seems to be finished.
Finished.
There's a
Okay.
cassette.
Okay. Ghetto blaster? Is that what that said?
Ooh, yes.
Oh my. Alright, computer?
No, that's just something for nerds.
Bruh, didn't you just claim to be a hockin' nerd?
Nothing's happening.
Is that remote control? Ooh woo. Okay. Oh, it's empty, so you have to put this in
Those two things don't work
Nope.
together.
No, you picked up batteries like literally 1 second ago.
So I did. Yes, sir. Alright, and then
So
a pencil.
a little inside joke that probably 99% of the people missed. If you go back to the right, on the garage grate, like the circle garage grate,
Yeah.
you have like this little mountain logo,
Yeah.
which is eerily similar to Sierra's logos, which was a company that did point-and-click games in the 80s and the 90s.
Nice. Nice. I would not have gotten that. Not at all.
I'm gonna drop an image
Nothing happens.
in the chat for the people that are curious.
No, that's
Wait, what if I was that?
it's not universal.
Bruh. So it only works on the computer? Question mark? Chainsaw fuel.
As usual, wrong game.
Wrong game! Ooh, what's this?
Let me see.
Oh, gotcha.
bunker.
Fuse box.
There's a lot of electricity running through that.
Sure is.
The elevator's already down.
Oh, okay. Look, check into your inventory.
Yeah, I think I got everything. And this is why I need to give it to Lefty.
Okay, so you're old enough to know that. So, back in the days, when you listened to a cassette and it was finished, and you needed to rewind it, there you
Okay.
You should be able to listen to it again. That's fine, just
What?
that doesn't.
You need to click on
Oh.
the deck.
Oh.
That should do it.
We've sealed off the catacombs. The experiment has failed.
What?
Subject number 4 has become insane and uncontrollable. It is not advised to unlock the secret door ever again. Should it nevertheless prove necessary, the remote control must be pointed at the computer and the following numerical code entered. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
That was really strange.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
All right, here we go.
1, 2, 3.
3.
What? 4. 5.
5.
Bruh.
Perfect.
Oh.
It worked.
What's that?
There's a room back there.
What is that? What'd
It's
you
a
just...
treasure loot Terry module.
Oh my gosh. Imagine. Wow. Alright, let's go make this monstrosity of a beer.
Hey, what was
you picked up on what you were missing.
I don't
Yeah.
know what you're talking about. Was there an earthquake?
Well, my greatest ever hunting trophy.
So yeah, for everybody that drives a car, Octane is quite of a good.
Something that'll turn the beer high octane.
I gotta say, you took that pretty literally.
It's a good hint.
But I think you have the idea. Perfect. That's got
Oh
all
god,
the
this
ingredients. I
monstrosity.
already know this is gonna be a great
No, it's
beer.
not.
Maybe even one that doesn't cause a rash.
Holy.
And now that Aaron's moved out, you're welcome to use the upstairs room for yourself. You're welcome to use the brewery yourself while I'm making a few minor adjustments to the new barbarian brew. Maybe some castoreum or toad secretion.
I don't know if that was such a good idea.
Probably not. But I'm assuming that I can get more beer. Yep, alright, cool. Concoction Jizzerway? Excuse me? Fuck. Hey, Shelby! Just lurking while Frank has been streaming? No problem. Thank you for the lurk. Just... God damn it. I hope Frank's stream is going well. Okay, this lady we can finally get.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Let's go! We got our own
Let's
room.
go.
Got our
Laser
own
shoot Fenty on fire.
Hell yeah. Don't mind the dildo, Shelby. You're not seeing anything, don't worry about it. Okay.
Forget appointments. It's time for our date. I want you to show me how to enjoy life again. Do you have a room where we can have some privacy?
As a matter of fact, I do.
Hell yeah. We have our own.
You know,
That's a great name. It's gonna
Larry,
wait.
I've been
Great name.
letting that watch
What
rule my life
name?
lately.
Oh, the Jizzerade.
I forgot that there are other things that do me good.
Yeah, this game is definitely like this. Oh, he's towards the end of Doom. Nice. I saw the tail end of his stream last time where he was playing Doom. Let's go roller skating.
No, Larry. Sex.
Oh.
What a coincidence. That does me a world of good too.
Oh, hi, Mark. Oh my god! I never saw that before. Oh, ooh, ooh. Okay, so maybe there is a little tiny bit of nudity in here. I didn't remember that. Heck. Heck.
Attention. Next training session. 30 minutes of wild hot sex with Larry Laffer.
What?
Ha!
I think the watch is right this time, and you should listen to it.
No, I'm not gonna be a slave to that watch anymore. From now on, I'm doing the opposite of whatever it tells me.
Oof.
You really opened my eyes, Larry. But from now on, I'm picking out the raisins again and eating them too.
What? Walk the talk?
We were already on the right track.
First, I'm gonna detox digitally.
When it comes to getting sweaty, I can help.
You've already helped me enough, Larry. As the last
Aww.
official act of my old life, I'm giving you a top rating on Timber.
Hell yeah, top rating on Timber?
I have
Ooh
to
woo.
find myself, Larry.
Ooh.
Thanks for the offer.
You're welcome, but I wish things had gone a little differently. My timber score must be amazing now.
Your timber score is 33.
Hey, getting there.
Not enough.
Hell yeah.
Larry, you have new suggestions on timber.
Oh, hi, Mark. God,
Hi,
that's
Mark.
that's so good. Oh, look at me. It's not going. Oh, wait. Wait.
Yeah, you need to click on the yeah.
Press the cat. Just here to stalk my friend. Lol. Already had orgasms when you were little. Lol. Acorny. Age 4. Hold on. I can store more than 2 nuts in my mouth.
Oh, someone clip that, please.
No! Heck. Oh, wait. No, we've already swiped him. Already swiped them. And them. Who's this? Terry Terrific. Really like to show you, something. Okay. Already swiped. Jan Bummelin? I don't know how to say that. Bummelman. Bummelman? Sure. I wanna hump. Alright. I think we've gone through. Oh, wait, no. FOMO. Same, though. Heidi Salami. God damn it! Why did you Fuck, Alex. Vladislav. Only set up here to judge you. Ooh, bleh. Bleh, 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 bleh. Larry Water. Oh my god. I want to hide my basilisk in your chamber of secrets.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh my god, this is amazing. I want to sleep with you and I want to skin you alive so that your screams summon Satan. Alright. Nice. I think we've got there by now. Why is he upside down now? Hold on. Tender. Wait, hold on. Jar Jar shot first. Empire forever. Gina Gormetto? Excuse me. Gianna Gormetto. I hate when people don't show their face on Timber. Hold, you're not showing your face! Batty McBallface. Balls deep. Polyfuck.
God is my daddy.
Oh my god. Sally Slippery. Now is that everybody? I think it is. Faithless. Wait, that's the person we're trying to get, right?
Hell yeah.
Lord and Lady Boy. Boy.
Boy. Yeah, I think we got them all.
You sure? You sure about that? Are you sure you got them all?
Pretty sure.
Alright. Alright. Now I can go back to the prune store, right?
Yeah, we can go talk to Nari because we have the cartridge.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Oh, fuck, wrong thing. I went to
okay.
where it was.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
I went to exactly to where I already was. Help. Alright, access card. Let's go. Let's go.
You know what? I think I would prefer if Apple had that logo. I prefer Prune's logo.
Yeah? I don't know about that one, Chief.
So much better.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll go with that.
You really found it?
Yes, I did. Really put that passion.
Okay, I officially admit it. You're nerdier than me. Watch, I'll show you something.
Ooh woo. What? Why is this on Instacrap? What are you doing on Instacrap with those?
To be honest, I would have gone to bed with you anyway. There are cameras everywhere, and it's pretty unromantic. We could continue our date at your place.
Sure. We can go to my love nest.
Hell yeah! Oh?
Larry!
Oh?
I'm ready for anything! Except for plain old vanilla sex.
That's great.
No, as cosplayers, we have to make something special out of it. I want to wear a unicorn head and a unicorn tail when we unite.
How do I get the unicorn head?
And somehow it's kind of unromantic here. How about some disco lights? You know, lots of little spotlights? That would go well with your outfit, too.
I'll see what I can dig up.
Okay. I like that. Alright. Well, I already know what to do here.
Chesky has been reminding me of something all along. Now I know what.
Like, iCarly has pair phones?
She
Yeah.
knows. Because she is a cosplayer.
Bruh. Tell my secrets, goddammit. But yeah, show me exactly like the pair phones. These are Pi phones.
Okay, so for the unicorn head, there's something in Lesty's bar that you need to get.
Oh. Wait, can I trade the moose head?
Never leave home without a moose head.
I can trade the moose head. Let's go. What about the antlers? You're just gonna leave the antlers behind? How dare you? Alright, let's go here. You are sensitive to adult content. Avert your eyes now. Okay. I want that. And we're gonna put that there.
Maybe that might fool the old lady, but the moose head still doesn't look enough like the unicorn head.
Yeah, you need to transform it a little bit.
Those two things don't work.
Ah!
Now
okay.
it's right. Maybe that might fool the old lady.
Bro, what else do you want?
You're missing the horn.
Oh.
Those two things.
Oh, wrong one.
That can't be.
What?
Okay, so take a look at your items.
Like a unicorn. No, the bone isn't sharp enough.
Damn it! I gotta go back.
You need to sharpen the bone.
God damn it!
Ooh.
Ooh woo. Yes, I know. I have the head. Bruh.
Bleh.
Bleh. Bleh. Bleh.
Bleh.
Bleh. Bleh.
Bleh, bleh, bleh.
Bleh, bleh, bleh. Alright. Let's go up. Up, up, and away! Office. Alright, sharpen our shit. And she's not here to tell me I can't touch stuff.
Now it's. This
Give me the ball.
Doesn't look now. I'm curious.
Give me the ball. What?
What the? Dead body. That must be Nary's missing assistant.
Ah!
Ah, there's some more of them.
Ah!
He doesn't need that anymore.
Ah!
I wonder why he had that with him in the first place.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Me too. Can I take the ball?
The dried saliva on the ball might be able to unlock the DNA
Oh
scanner.
my
I can't
god.
get it out. It's really locked down on it. Something really heavy would have to hit it.
Heavy?
That doesn't help me. I might still need that.
I probably don't have what I need.
Yeah, exactly. You don't have what you need for that part.
Okay. Do I need to sharpen the
I don't
pencil?
think so.
Okay. I think that's all I can do in here. And go back.
Yep.
Blah.
It only opens with
Blah,
an access
blah, blah.
card.
I always forget about the access card. Sorry. I keep wanting to hit the back option too. Okay, okay. Where am I going? Oh, here. Heck.
You're getting the unicorn head.
Unicorn.
Sticks on its own.
Oh my god, that looks ridiculous! The leisure suite. Now.
Ooh.
Ooh.
That might work. I'm sure she won't notice that it's a different head.
Nah. How could you notice? It looks exactly the same to me.
It's the same.
Yeah. Oh my. Okay. So this chick is in my room, but she wanted somewhere with disco lights. I don't know where there's disco lights. Unless I'm in the club. Which is
Oh,
very
you have all
possible.
the items for the disco light.
Oh, do I?
Yep.
Oh, I think I see.
Wow! Just what I was looking for. Now all that's missing is the unicorn tail.
Oh man. Oh man. Forgive me, chat.
Great! Can you help me put it on?
It would be my pleasure.
And does it suit me?
Not only you.
Yeah, Shelby, it did look like a little bit of a nightmare. You're right.
Yep. You're almost there.
I don't think so.
Almost.
That doesn't help.
What is spherical in shape in that room?
Wait, is that actually a light?
Like a disco ball.
Oh my.
Just like in the good old days. But it's too bright in here to see the points of light.
Oh my god.
Click. Romantic.
Larry! You made it! Romantic light, my costume. You really earned the next bit. And since I saw in your Timber profile that you like Scroonicorn, I will grant your wish.
You can do anything
Oh,
you want
look
with me.
away!
I mean, Everybody else does.
Okay, the security word is approximation algorithm, but you have to pronounce it very clearly. Might not be that easy with the ball in your mouth.
No problem, baby. Although, what?
Oh no. Oh no!
So,
Yes,
what was
Avo,
it
you
with
came
your
back to
girlfriend?
this.
I don't want to talk about it.
It couldn't have been that bad. Come on, sit down.
No thanks. I'd rather stand.
Aww.
My new timber score.
Your timber score is 38.
Well, at least it's a little higher.
Oh my god! Holy.
What's the status of our new model? Have all the mistakes finally been ironed out?
Almost. There are still some durability tests to be done, and the new Pi software is still being calibrated. As long as this prototype doesn't turn up in some pool of piss, everything is on track. I don't understand what your problem is. You're on top. You can have anyone. People worship you. And then you decide to go and get shit-faced in the only bar we haven't shut down
Oh
yet.
no.
And you lose the prototype.
Oh wait, no, that's what you're talking
You
about
must have
previously.
put
Got
something
it.
in that weird beer.
You're putting everything we've worked all
I thought he
these
drank the
years
new
for in
one.
danger.
Of course not. Never.
Larry, you have new suggestions on timber.
Ooh, new suggestions on timber. Don't see any new ones yet. Oh, she might be new. Just an intern. Kirsten Bujlon. Oh, she has a diva jacket. Look how cute! Look how cute! Oh my gosh. Irina Zinner? Just doing research. Maurice Elaine. I don't know. Oh wait, Heiner Schmidt. May I stick my penis into your vagina? Oh my god. Alex Crouch. Oh my god, Alex, you're in the game! Aw, she's cute. EMP activate.
Hello.
I think that's all of them.
Yeah, seems like it.
Daphne. Miles Moneless, that gets me. Larry Lauder and the Miles Moneless, both hilarious. So fucking funny. Alright, I think that's it. Alright, so what was this other girl?
You have one big. Okay, so you have one thing that I see that you need to do. So you have a watermelon in your inventory.
Watermelon.
You have a watermelon. Okay, so you need to use that watermelon to do pretty much the same thing that you've done with the head. So you need to trade it with something, so that someone doesn't see that you took something that was not a watermelon.
Okay.
And while you search, I'm gonna refuel on the French juice.
Okay. Watermelon. Gotta search for a bowling ball? Where's a bowling ball? And yes, that is a lube fountain. Thank you. What? Maybe in here?
What's up? Can I go back in for a second?
No.
Is Tuck home?
She doesn't even live here.
Tuck. Now I can talk to Tuck inside too.
But you can't. Alright, so it's not here. I wonder if it's here. I ventured, I guess if it is here, it'd be up there. Aw, it's a little Nessie. Cute. Alex, did you see the little Nessie?
Yes, the little Nessie. Yee.
So cute. Alright, it's not here. Oh, I know! It's in the bag in the gym. I think.
Maybe.
Hello, Mr. Swango.
There it is.
Enjoy.
I found it.
And presto.
An actual watermelon.
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 Keep it up and stay fit.
You too. Okay. I'm assuming that can hit the ball out of the dead guy's mouth. Words I never thought they would be strung together in one sentence, but here we are. Oh man.
That's Liverfoot Larry.
It's definitely a game and a half. Like, just laying there.
Nari's not here anymore. She probably needed a break after our date.
Yeah.
That's fine, just...
What?
I don't think so. That ball is
So-
too heavy for me to attach to the chain.
Think about it.
What am I thinking?
So you're not strong enough to just yeet it on the on top of the dude. How could you make?
Oh! Okay, I got it. I got it. That's why that's there. I smell food being made and it smells so good.
Food.
Food. Rolling, rolling, rolling. Oh, it just like bounced around to the scanner. Alright. Easy. Let's go. Office.
Let's go.
Let's go. Unlocked? What are we gonna find in here?
I'd better be careful with that thing.
Yeah? Okay, but like, what are you gonna...
Careful with that
What? What?
Yeah, there's something that you. Oh.
Found it.
The data seems to have transferred automatically. Hopefully Anu can figure out what to do with the data. I'd better be careful.
So I have... Okay, so I have it with the data.
Yeah.
Cool.
So you do remember the lawyer that wanted to find data on Prune, right?
I don't, but I saw her on the map, so I'm gonna say yes.
Okay, so basically, that's your public defender. She is actually in the. You need to get back into your cell, basically. the one that you escaped from,
Okay.
using the secret tunnel.
Won't allow that.
Wait, there's a secret tunnel?
Yeah, you remember the secret tunnel, right?
I do not.
So the secret tunnel.
Oh, yeah, I do. I do.
Yeah, you remember.
I do. I like how the sign just says fuck off. I agree with that sentiment. Secret tunnel to jail. Wait, where's Tuck?
Tuck left, I think. Yeah, you broke them out for the wedding.
Oh, you're right.
Did you get the data from headquarters?
Here you go.
Sure did.
Excellent. I can hardly wait to see what you found.
So, what about our date?
Oh, later. I have a couple of things I need to do, and then I'll get back to you.
Oh my gosh, what a tease!
Things? Pie? Where is she on Timber?
Anu Singh is no longer listed as a contact.
Ooh.
Damn it.
Ooh. That sucks. So he's got ghosted?
Yeah. Unacceptable.
Wow. What a jerk. Alright, well, I still got this guy for some reason.
What's that?
Incoming call from Anu Singh.
Uh-oh.
I always take calls from my admirers.
I accidentally clicked.
Accepting call.
Larry?
I knew you couldn't resist my charm. Are you ready for our date?
Larry, meet me at the Salon de Lazard right away.
Okay.
I'm on my way, baby.
Okay. Let's go.
I knew she wouldn't be able to stay away long.
Oh my gosh. Salon, this one, right?
No, that's the bar. It's the bar.
Cafe thingy.
Yeah.
I don't know where you got that information, but you have nothing on Prune.
Don't be so sure of that, BJ.
You can't stop Prune. The keynote speech is coming up, and the new Pi phone will sell even better than its predecessors. Prune has new lost wages under control, and there is nothing you can do about it. We always win.
Larry?
What did you and BJ talk about?
I just happened to see him here and I thought I had something on him. But BJ's right. The data you collected is useless. It doesn't reveal any of Prune's secrets.
Yep,
I don't work
same.
well under pressure.
Anyway, there's nothing more I can do about Prune.
Why do you hate Prune and BJ so much?
I worked at Prune until recently. I thought it'd be a great stepping stone after my studies and everyone wants to be recruited by Prune. But I soon realized the job didn't fulfill me.
Don't you dare say a single word.
Besides, I had found evidence that Prune is hiding something. And Prune now permeates everyone's life. Before I found out what it was, they fired me. Now, as a lawyer, I try to help all the oppressed. And while I'm at it, I want to find out what that BJ is hiding. If only there was a way I could enter their headquarters myself.
Not a single word about that either, Larry.
I found something on the stick indicating that there's a secret server somewhere in BJ's Skyloft. But that's the most secure place in all of New Lost Wages. Absolutely impossible for us to get in there.
There we go.
Maybe a date with me would help you think of something else.
But probably depression isn't something I really need at the moment.
Oh my.
BJ is a dork.
Yeah, but the problem is more that he's too intelligent. Anyway, something's not right there. He always acts so differently when that Faith is around.
Do you have any idea how to get into the Skyloft?
Well, you'd need BJ's access card and a whole lot of luck. BJ always carries that gold card with him. Maybe you could go back to Prune and ask around a bit.
Okay.
Let me think about it.
Good idea.
Alright. So we're going to Prune.
We're going to prune.
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 Poutine?
Poutine. Ooh.
Poutine. Alright. The poutine store.
Hey, you there! I lost my access card.
Uh-oh.
I have to go up to the Skyloft right away.
It's not that easy because the security protocols won't allow it.
I don't care. I met that stupid lawyer earlier and must have lost my access card somewhere along the way.
Prune Security Protocol, Section 34, Paragraph 12, lost access card can only be reissued after a thorough security check.
What? Who made a stupid bloody rule like that?
That would have been you, BJ.
Rip.
Just give us a second. We'll get everything ready.
So he lost it, eh?
Mm-hmm.
Along the way, you say? Is it in a different area?
It is in the Ifster bar.
Okay.
And it is never at the same place. It's actually random. So
Really?
I cannot help you. Yep.
Oh no.
BJ's access card could have slipped under there. No, nothing. Maybe BJ's access card slipped into this narrow crack.
Could've.
No, I guess not.
Hmm.
No, I'm not taking...
Old chair.
BJ's access card could have fallen into the cracks. Nothing to be found.
Pillow?
Maybe BJ lost his access card here. No.
What?
It's not there. That was a stupid thing to do last time around. There's a really strange noise on this record. There's a really strange... I can't really imagine the access card ending up in there. Oh,
What?
hey, here it is.
In the tip jar? How?
Look what
I
I
don't
found.
know.
BJ's access card. He must have lost it when he was arguing with you. This is our only chance. We have to get to Prune immediately. Come on. Larry, come on. We don't have time to lose. Use the access card.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Don't just stand there looking like a pole-axed wombat.
Pole-axed wombat?
We're ready for the security questions.
Then get a move on.
Right. Name?
Bill Jobs, in case you didn't notice.
Address?
Here in the Skyloft. Where else?
Favorite animal?
I've already connected my Pi phone to BJ's computer.
Where's the cable?
No, via wireless data transmission.
This thing even has a built-in modem.
Wait, I'm looking through the data on the computer.
And you can just access that?
It's a Unix system. I know this.
I don't get it.
I can access the computer because I have big breasts, Larry.
What?
Oh, of course.
What? Is that how it works?
That's strange.
Yeah, that's exactly how it works.
The boss key is Control B.
This is BJ's computer, but it doesn't have any company data on it. But it was clear that there must be sensitive data here in the Skyloft. There has to be something else here. Larry, search the place.
Searching.
That thing is definitely one size too big for me.
Only one?
What she said.
Here, you can enter some kind of code.
Yeah? Alright, so I gotta figure out code.
Yeah.
This is BJ's but it was clear there has to.
There's nothing else to click on here.
You can use this card to access. If this were an object in a role-playing game, it would have at least one violet-colored font.
Alright. Where do I find the code?
Alright, so you need to find BJ's code, right?
Yeah,
And where is BJ's right now?
downstairs.
And what is he doing?
Oh, you're right.
I need B.
You're right, you're right.
Favorite animal?
Alpaca.
Third middle name of your second-degree aunt?
Roberta.
Favorite color?
Plum.
Favorite fruit? I think I can guess. Security sign?
Capital B 4 times the equal sign capital D.
Oh.
What now?
I think I made a typo. We have to start all over again. Name?
Bill Jobs, in case you didn't notice.
Wait, I forgot what the letters were.
Okay.
No,
Amy?
I got it.
Capital
No,
B.
no, I got it. I got it. Don't worry. Don't worry.
Roberta.
Favorite color?
Plum.
Favorite fruit? I think I can guess. Security sign?
Capital B 4 times the equal sign capital D.
What's the D?
What now?
I think I made a typo.
B D B D.
Here, you can enter some kind of code.
B equal 2 3 4. Oh,
You just found out what it was.
that's why it's a D. Yep.
What is that thing?
Great, Larry.
Got
That's
it.
a secret server.
What's on it?
Secrets.
These are all internal prune documents. I'll copy them over.
Oh my god, Alex.
Great, Larry. Thanks a lot. It should definitely contain something I can use against prune.
You're very welcome.
Wait. Let me give you the highest score on timber, and you know what? I have this urge to abuse BJ's desk.
You want to mess up the papers?
I want to have wild sex on his desk.
Ooh. It's a capital D because it's a D.
I've been wondering how you've resisted me for so long.
Oh, I just have so much self-control. Let me show you something.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Uh-oh.
What was that?
Let's get out of here, Larry. Quick.
But I was going to... Anu? Where are you?
Uh-oh.
What? Larry?
Oh, I've been waiting for you, baby.
What are you doing in here? What's going on here?
So the third line from the bottom, the one that was saying, I'm selling those fine leather condoms. It's from the first Monkey Island game where you can answer to someone, I'm selling those fine leather jackets.
Time for our date.
Oh gosh.
Time for this shit. The most important keynote of my career is underway.
TOS, Gilbert,
and all
no.
of a sudden, the motion detectors here in the office go off. What has BJ done now? Did he let you in here? I can't deal with you right now.
Monka toes.
I'll deal with you later.
I'll deal with you later.
Who the hell is that?
Maybe you should just answer it.
Great idea. Hello?
Larry, it's me.
Hey, baby. You dialed the right number.
It's Anu.
Oh, okay. Where have you been hiding?
I jumped out of the window.
Oh, God.
Oh, that was
And
the
used
good
my
time.
bra as a parachute.
What? Your bra?
And then you had a soft landing, too.
I was already able to take a look at the
Oh
material.
my god.
It includes all the technical details of the new Pi phone. I'll have to have it checked by experts, but I think it contains undocumented features. We'll be able to use that to get them. And when the time is right, when Prune is reeling, I'll use it to destroy them.
Anu. She hung up.
Rip.
Huh. Now that I've gone on all my dates, I should have a fantastic timber score.
It'd be like 42, right?
I have now?
45.
45.
What? That's all? How many women would I have to go out with to get to 90?
With the best rating, 774 women.
Oh god.
Oh, I love a challenge.
Hell yeah.
Wouldn't the timber data have to be on the server here?
Confirmed.
So, all I have to do is hack into this
Oh
server
no,
and
he's
set
gonna reset his own score. No.
But there's one more thing. Today, we're proud to present you the all-new Pi phone.
All right.
It's the best Pi phone ever. We have improved every little detail. The corners are not 0.5% rounded.
All right.
The color is completely
Oh
new.
my gosh.
There is a new wallpaper.
Yikes. All right.
The server looks a little different than they did back in the day. If only I knew which interface I could use to access the system.
Maybe I can help.
Yes, please.
Connecting to server. Oh, a protocol server. Beep, 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 beep. Wouldn't he like to know? Beep, 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 beep.
Oh my
The old smoothie.
Get a room.
Oh, that's just my human. He's harmless. I mean, beep, 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 beep.
No, don't reset the score.
Tell him he's about to get kicked.
You want something from him. Don't forget that.
No, don't reset it.
Now reset my timber score.
Just a second. Beep, 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 beep. Done. Your timber score is now 90.
Finally. Now Faith has to keep her promise.
Wait, really?
Beep, 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 beep.
What happened this time?
Oh, I used one of your pickup lines, and he just took off.
Those things only work if you have the right look.
Oh.
Wait.
How did he just randomly fall in? Oh my god. Uh-oh.
What the fuck are you doing?
Ouch.
Larry, you goddamn idiot. This keynote has to be absolutely perfect. You're going to play along. Yes! Talk about an entrance! Put your hands
Oh,
together
gosh.
for a big round of applause! To present the new Pi phone's features, I would like to welcome our,
Chief Eviction Officer!
Stripper intern? Face future husband. There we go.
Faith's future husband.
Larry Laffer! Just read what's on the teleprompter.
Technology changes all our lives, and technology is only as good as the software that drives it.
I mean,
Isn't that
oh my.
right, BJ? Friendly laugh.
Yes.
Oh my
Prune, we don't just want our software to be revolutionary. We want it to improve everyone's lives.
At Prune, we don't just want...
Next line, you idiot.
Oh, okay. Of all our apps, it's primarily Timber that brings people together. And I'm happy to unveil the latest version.
This device also introduces the PiPhone's new artificial intelligence. We are now retiring the outdated version of our AI. It has become obsolete.
What? Your ass is obsolete!
Well, Larry, maybe you could turn on the new model so we can demonstrate its capabilities.
What? You again? Are you going to torture me again?
Oh
Be
no.
grateful that he doesn't delete you right away.
Oh no.
We should talk about the new PiPhone.
Yeah, Lessie, if you gotta go ahead.
Updates now, Larry.
I've had enough of humans.
Now, Larry, what is the new Timber version's most outstanding feature?
But it doesn't say anything there.
I'm improvising because of you.
16 color photos, a new strip poker game.
A new strip poker game?
Of course. We're especially proud of how quickly the pictures load. How fast is it now?
Under 7 seconds?
Larry, I believe.
Even faster. The new Timber version now offers completely new contact options.
She's so angry. What's happening?
Angie. Oh yeah, it's red.
Maybe it would be a good idea to turn the device off.
But it doesn't say that on the teleprompter.
Enough!
Lol. Kaboom! That phone is fucking cooking. Bruh.
So yeah, this is the last part of the game, actually.
Really?
Yes.
Like what we just finished is?
Yeah, when we finish the retro version, no, this we're in the last like 20%, maybe 10 to 20%.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the first leadership that we looked like this.
My gosh. Here comes a real Larry laugher. I don't have anything! Nothing is draining, huh? Oh. Larry? Yes? I like your style. Thanks. Oh my god. What? What you are? What you want? What the fuck is this?
This one is important.
Is it? You fix the hand dryer, get right on that. Okay. I know. Okay. ¿Puedes door? Oh. Plunger? Okay. Eh? An eel?
Don't ask question.
I really stiffened the moment I touched it! Oh my god! Hands are clean enough, you- oh, okay. Not gonna ask. The pixels, I can see the pixels, right? Evil. Wait. Wait. Can I open it with the eel? Oh, to push the key out. Then fall down on the other side? Oh. Oh my. Oh my god, is that the Josh P? Holy. How you doing, Josh? It's not just me, it's also Alex too.
Gang gang.
Gang gang. Gang gang. Filthy hands. What? Groper? Bruh. Are you Larry too? I can, What? You're beyond help. Oh man. Sorry for late responses. You have some bad Wi-Fi. No problem. I'm glad to hear you're doing good. Wait, what? Oh god. No. No. You're not Ronald. Oh my god. I'm not reading all of this. You're the greatest, Larry. Taught me how to treat women. I mean, that makes sense. Oh my gosh. Explain to Little Bill and the whole nation how you speak to a woman. Oh my gosh. Boobs.
Boobs.
In front of the stove. Oof. Wait, he has makeup on! In your current stage of trying to take your messy life and make it not so messy? Facts, man, I'm insane. Don't listen to the weirdo. Oh my god. I'm losing myself. Oh god, that noise. Please stop. Please no. Please no. I hate it. I hate it.
Losing myself? That can't be.
Oh, he's coming around.
What?
See? There was no need to call a doctor. A couple of hours unconscious will fix anything.
What? What happened?
The new Pi phone exploded, and you were knocked out.
What? That was all just a dream. You understand? None of that was real.
Sure, Larry.
Anyway, thanks to your little performance, Prune's share price dropped through the floor.
Yeah, thanks for that. It's not like we live for this job or anything.
Where's Faith?
She took off with BJ. I heard a rumor that they're on their yacht and plan to go to BJ's villa in Cancun.
Hopefully,
Cancun.
they'll come up with some way to
Yeah.
save the company.
I have to get to the pier. Oh, fear not, Faith. Your Larry is coming to your
Tennis
rescue.
intensifies.
You
So
went
yeah,
everything. All you had to do was make sure that Larry didn't get in our way again. Was that too much to ask?
You're the one who sent him on a mission to get half the town on his side.
Hell, you could have just bumped him off.
Why do you think I'm doing this job, Faith? Because I can improvise. I am the face of Prune. I'm the one the world wants to see at the top.
Believe me, I know exactly what you mean to the company now. And maybe it's time things changed around here.
Uh-oh.
We're leaving.
Uh-oh.
So yeah, the second game of the reboot.
You don't have many options. I'll see if you can figure it out for yourself.
The second game of the reboot, the one after that, is actually all in
I
CanCom.
think I prefer to swim after them.
You jump through that porthole right this minute, Larry! Don't rush me!
Yes, and we're getting more of Pi. I love Pi. She's so
Hell
great.
yeah. Toot. Yeet.
Yeet.
That was close, but I made it aboard. Wait a minute. Damn, all my stuff fell out of my pants during my death-defying jump.
Oh no.
Oh no, Pi?
Uh-oh.
Sorry, I'm still
Ah,
here,
there she is.
unfortunately.
Faith, I'm coming.
Yeah?
You'll never get into that.
How would you know?
I have the most advanced sensors.
How long will the trip take?
3 hours and 47 minutes. At our current rate of travel, give or take.
Give and take?
Oh my god.
Can you sing something?
Sing yourself.
Can you show me a couple of movies?
I don't have any reception on the high seas.
Can you tell me some jokes?
You mean ones like, a woman came to see the gynecologist?
Exactly.
No!
This is getting boring. What can I do to kill time? It's too bad you're not a sex
Oh my god.
or at least a sex doll.
Oh, maybe you can find something like that around here somewhere.
Great idea.
Why do I encourage him? At least wash your hands before you touch me again.
Cracked crate. Bruh.
I wonder if that belongs to Faith.
Yes, the box is vibrating.
The vibrating parcel.
No, I can't open it like that.
Why not? How am I? It didn't even have. It has been forever. I'm alright. Could be better, but I'm alright. Your day's not consistent of waking up very early in the morning. 1, 2, or 3. Wait, really? You wake up at 1, 2, or 3 a.m.? Jesus. Yeah. I don't blame you though. If you go to sleep, if you wake up that early, like going to bed early makes sense. Wait, what am I doing?
I can't open that with. I'm not really sure. There's a loose board.
Okay.
I can't pry it up that easily.
I'm looking for something to pry something with. Oh, alright, well. That's
It's a pile of crowbars.
It's convenient.
A convenient pile of crowbars.
Alright.
Sounds like me at the hot dog eating contest. You know, afterwards.
Afterwards. Hello?
BJ? Are you a vampire? Whew, it's just a doll.
Jesus.
If I were to go overboard now, I might drown. And then Faith would be disappointed because she couldn't go out on a date with me.
Wait. Did we just actually jump out? Even though he said that he didn't want to drown?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh my god. The beer came with the Sunday cup. Is decently oh no. Oh no. Are you drunk over there?
I don't think so. That doesn't need to be formed.
So you still need to pick up something.
The BJ doll is now wearing sexy underwear. That's fine. I don't think so.
Why?
The BJ doll now wears sexy underwear and moans.
Oh my god.
This calls for more delicate tools. Let's see if it really contains what it says it does.
Probably not. Okay, maybe so.
don't think so.
Uh.
That doesn't help. It doesn't matter how many crowbars I have. I've already opened that, so... I've already opened...
You need to, yeah, a little bit more precise on your
There we go.
Ouch! That's really
Half-Life 3 Easter egg? Wait, what was it? Also, Josh said, not sure why it just happened one day and you, don't have the energy anymore, stay up past 7? Yo, I feel that though.
The splinter could be sharp enough for that.
Energy is hard to come by these days. On the crack crate, there's a lambda symbol with a 3 next to it. I don't see it unless you're talking about this one. Oh! You're right, there is. There is. Oh my god.
I like him like that. But what do I do with it now? I've already opened that, so...
Do I put him in the ooze?
Why not?
Oh my gosh! What is happening?
Nothing's happening. Stupid BJ anyway.
Huh? What? Bruh!
What do you think you've built?
The prototype of a new generation
For the sexually frustrated market?
Pie, if I get too carried away and don't want to stop, let me know when we get there.
Oh no. No.
Must have shut herself off.
Yeah, I would too.
Baby.
Please no pictures. Please no pictures. 30 seconds later!
This is the longest I've ever
Just to get rid.
an artificial woman. She seems to have enjoyed it. Pie? Hello?
Is it over?
You really missed something. We're almost there.
Positioning in progress. We're about to dock in CanCom.
Don't worry, Faith. I'll be with you in a jiffy. I'll help you save Prune, and then we'll finally be together.
Oh.
Oh no.
But where's Faith right now? I should keep an eye out for locals. Maybe they saw her.
So how much more do you think there is to the game?
This is the last area. There's quite a lot of stuff to do, and there's also the happy ending DLC. But definitely, if you do another stream of it, you'll have to have the second game ready because you're not going to be able to do an hour on that.
Okay. Well, Lessy redeemed 2 of these, so we have 1 more stream to do of it.
Okay.
We could probably just ask her what she wants to do after we finish it.
Yeah, we there's also, like I said, there's the second game, like the With Dreams Dry Twice, that is in the same type of game. I'm pretty sure she wanted to continue on that one. But yeah, you'll need to ask her if she wants to redeem for this particular game.
Mm-hmm. Alright. Well, with that, we are done with Leisure Suit Larry for the day. Girlfriend, that sort of happy ending, right?
Yep, the happy ending DLC with Fate.
Also, Josh, congrats on getting your room clean. That's huge. I know for me, like, cleaning is super overwhelming, so if I clean stuff, it's like, it's great. Anyways, I'm gonna shout you out because people need to go see you. Go check out Alex. That's who we're playing with today. Well, who was backseating me and helping because I wouldn't be able to figure things out otherwise.
So I'm gonna prepare the.
Oh,
something.
I don't think I have those on this. I don't have those on this. Oh my god. Wait, Shifter, wait, I don't have those on this. Hold on. Hold on. Ah! I forgot to put the trigger fire stuff on. Holy, okay.
Come on, guys, can I get some young in the chat?
There you go.
Haven't been following Alex. Go get them a follow. I'm gonna say this wrong.
Get pro streamer moment.
So Santi,
yes.
I'm gonna send you a team key in Discord, and you know what it is for.
Okay.
You'll know.
Oh no, I'm scared. Please send help.
Where is the Santi? The Santi's in here.
I'm right here. Oh, okay. Wait, what is that for?
Redeem it, and you'll see.
Oh no. Oh no.
Thanks for coming to my stream.
Thanks for coming to my stream. Also, who won the oh my god, what dreams died twice? Fuck. Okay, let's do more. Oh man. But who won the timber swipes?
Lessy won the timber.
Hey.
So I'm gonna give.
Lessy, are you here?
Please, may the real, slim, shady Lessy stand up.
Oh man. I'm sure she'll see the notification.
Alright, let me just gift this. Okay,
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give a tier 3 to a specific viewer. Lessy.
Can you do it to somebody who already has like a tier 1?
Yes, I believe I can.
What if it costs less for you?
Sorry, a gift subscription for this channel is not available for this user. Oh yeah, I can give the level. No, I cannot.
You can't?
I cannot.
Okay.
Well, we'll sort it out with Lessy. I'll find something.
Hold on, I'm messaging her right now. Okay. Browser. Yes. Okay. Alright, I messaged Lessie. We'll see how long until her sub is up. I'm gonna ask her. And yeah. Thank you for helping me again and for being on stream.
On stream.
Thanks for coming to my stream. Anyways, I'm going to deafen so I can end stream. And yeah, I'll be back in a few minutes.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, guys. I hope you enjoyed Leisure Suit Larry. It was so fun. I need to get on Twitch and see who all is actually on. Because we need a candidate for raids. Let's see. Oh, you know what? I haven't rated this person in forever. So, we're gonna go say hi. You're just gonna stop by even for a short time? I'm glad you stopped by too, Josh. I've missed everybody. But we are going to stop by Louis Lemming. Feel free to copy and paste that if you have a sub, or if you don't have a sub, copy and paste that, or exchange out the emotes for something that you have, that you like, something that you can use. Thank you all so much for being here. I really appreciate it. Thank you for making my time back a good one. First stream back in a month. And I will see you guys again. I don't know when. I'm still not making schedules, but hopefully again sometime soon. I do want to continue playing Last of Us 2, so I'm hoping that's going to be our next stream. But it's probably most likely won't be until after Thanksgiving because it's going to be a busy heckin' week. But I hope you all have a great Thanksgiving weekend. And thank you again for being here, for just lurking, for watching, for gifting, for the raids, just being you guys in general. I will see you around next week. I'll be on socials, but I'll see y'all around. Have a good weekend. Bye, everybody.